This might be odd because it's March, but I think I have a new favorite Christmas movie. So, Novacaine is the new Jack Quaid film of 2025, since the last one, Companion. It's directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson, and written by Lars Jacobson. And I've never heard of any of those three people. I didn't do a whole lot of research going into this movie because technically this movie doesn't come out until this Friday. Now, like most of my reviews, unless it's marked in the title spoiler, there's not going to be any major spoilers, more or less just talking about the premise and what I liked and what I didn't like about this movie. And if you saw my last review on Mickey 17, then you know I went into this movie thinking I wasn't going to like it very much. But I did. I really liked this movie. And it's not just because of Jack Quaid. It also stars Amber Midthunder from Prey, which I really, really enjoyed that movie. That was a movie, I think it came out on Hulu, and I don't know why that Predator movie was in theaters, but I hadn't seen her really in anything else. So I was really looking forward to seeing her in this, and she didn't disappoint. And neither did Ray Nicholson, who plays the antagonist in this series, which we'll go into a little bit later. The premise of this movie is pretty wild. It's a guy that can't feel pain. And again, comes to the trailer that I saw a couple times before some other movies I saw this year. I wasn't excited about it. I really thought this was going to just be some B-movie crap garbage or something like that. I mean, I went into it literally not expecting to enjoy it, which is not like me. I typically go into a theater with an open mind. But I said it in my Mickey 17 review, but I was wondering if this was going to be the Armageddon to the Deep Impact, like two movies that got a similar main characters going through a bunch of pain stuff. I do like Armageddon and Deep Impact, but I was also a kid when those movies came out. Going into this, I thought, is this going to be that kind of thing all over again? And it's not at all. It's a very refreshing take on a dude who's gone through some crap in his life because of the ability to not feel pain. And he just wants what most of us want. He wants to find a girl of his dreams, settle down with the person he loves, enjoy life more and become fulfilled with a partner. And he's tired of being lonely. And that leads to Sherry, played by Midthunder. And she's a great love interest. There's so many little misdirects when they first meet, like in the very beginning, like, is this chick too good to be true for this guy? And he feels that way. You can't underestimate the power of Jack Quaid playing a fucking loser. He's really good at it. Like, really good at it. I mean, the Scream movie, Companion, The Boys, now this. It's like they typecast this guy, but he still manages to be Jack Quaid in all of these roles, like his little Jack Quaidisms, but still not make the character, like in this case, Nate, feel like the character from Companion or, Huey from The Boys. It only feels like there's similarities because of the actor, but the actual character and the way he plays the characters and stuff like that is a really good job of separating the character from himself, and it's what an actor's supposed to do. It's just weird because he's playing so many similar roles with a guy, it seems like, that's just in an apartment and finds a love interest or wants the love of his life. He's got a lot of that going on, and I think he did a really good job of separating himself from his most recent role in Companion here. So the thing about this film is it's not just the love interest characters that make this an enduring film. Each of the side characters in this movie, I feel like, have more character development within their few lines they get and the minimal screen time they have than some of the main supporting characters of a film like the new Captain America Brave New World. I like everyone that is in this. Without spoiling anything, there's a scene where there's a jail guard, and he literally is maybe on the screen for 2 minutes and has, I don't know, 3 sentences or 4 sentences of dialogue, and you already felt connected to this guy's personality, what bothers him, his comedic timing, and you're like, I want to know more about this character. That is the way all of the characters in this film are. And I just wish more film could do that. Like, take that little minimal time. It's just, it really says something about this Lars guy that wrote it. He did a really good job of taking these very small background characters, supporting characters, and making them feel enduring as their main character counterparts. Awesome job on character development. Awesome job on believability of the characters, and for it to be such a crazy premise of this film of a guy that can't feel pain, and him as he reveals it to characters, how he does it and their facial reactions to it and things like that. It's awesome. There's also a ton of comedy in this film. I think it's a comedy first and an action movie second. Both of them are at play here. The action is very good in the movie. The comedy lands for me and everyone around me. This was the most full theater I've been in a while. Now, again, this was like an early screening. All the people got the invites to it. All the people that got pre-order tickets to the special event. It filled it up. That was cool. Better than the last 2 or 3 movies I've been to where it has not been a full theater. So again, I love it when the exhibition industry hums with people experiencing these exhibitions. That is theater and popcorn, and it's fun, man. That's why I do this. I love movies. So speaking of supporting characters, Jacob, I think it's Batalone, is in this. That's the guy in the chair from the Spider-Man movies. he's got a pretty similar role in this as our main character's like only real friend he's had for years. But it's I'm not gonna spoil like how they know each other and how they met and how it develops in this film. But just their chemistry is a very guy in the chair to the Peter Parker of Spider-Man, and he's so good, dude. I mean, and the theater lit up as soon as you hear his voice, like because you hear his voice before you see his face, and I was like, okay, we got a very distinct voice here, so it's really cool seeing the guy in the chair back. So Nate, Sherry, and Simon. So Simon is again the antagonist, and he's not an original bad guy, but he is a really good one. Like a really good one. He plays it off amazing. He's a thief or a robber of some sort. Again, I don't want to spoil too much of the setup in this movie because other than the guy feeling pain, I feel like it's all you really need, and that he's lonely and wants love. That's really all you need to go into this film. But I will say that Simon plays Grand Theft Auto in real life in this movie. And I don't mean just stealing cars. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. He's got a gun, and if someone's running away, like literally a paramedic from the ambulance, like you would see in like Grand Theft Auto, he shoots them. Some other guy walks, he's literally in this movie for like one of the scenes playing Grand Theft Auto with all the extras. It's a good time. Now, I said it early on, this is a Christmas movie. Like it takes place at Christmas time, but it's set in San Diego. So there's not really a whole lot to really bring that home in it other than him saying it. Oh yeah, he even says, oh yeah, it is Christmas, like in one scene, and them referencing it at the very beginning. But I think it's going to be up there, and that might have been behind the creators of it. Like now it's going to be one of those diehard arguments. Is Novacaine technically a Christmas movie? Yes. Yes, it is. And it is now, again, one of my favorites. The last thing before I give us a rating, I will say that reveals when it comes to plot and how it's given to the audience and then given to the character and or vice versa is different depending on what you're watching. There is a family Darth Vader-esque reveal in this film. Of course, it's not that much gravitas because it's not Star Wars or something like that. It's not this epic blockbuster. But it still caught me, and I was like, oh shit. And everyone around me in the theater felt the same way. And then it's one of those reveals that later on the character Nate gets the reveal, and we experience it all over again. And that was what really took this movie from like, hey, this is like some really cool B-ish movie from the 90s that would have been like a Point Break style movie or something, and moved it up to, dude, might be one of my favorite movies this year. So before I go into the rating, I just wanted to tell you guys, this is worth seeing in theaters. Like, it's not just a B movie. That's right. Oh. Totally worth it. A. But not A+. So what was my one negative in this film? There were some scenes that you can tell the budget's there. And again, that's not the movie's fault, but I just feel like because I enjoyed the movie so much, I'd just be kind of giving it a pass. An A is a fucking amazing rating. I'm gonna try not to just hand out A plus awards to everything I just enjoy, because there was a few things that took me out of the movie, and it's not the movie's fault per se that the budget is what the budget was for this film, which I don't even know what it was, but I know that when the cops show up in certain scenes, they were all in like 1999 square body late 90s still squared off Suburbans and Tahoes, and one of the Ford Taurus cop cars is literally like early 90s RoboCop body style. And that takes me on, because I'm a car guy, like right out of a movie, because I'm like, wait. I just saw a bunch of more background modern Hondas and Toyotas. Is this supposed to be in the 90s? No, I just saw that cell phone. This isn't the 90s. And I'm like, okay, well, again, it's not, it sucks that you couldn't at least have, cop cars that are, 10 or 15 years old instead of ones that, you know, freaking pushing 25, 30 years old. So that, and it's not just those. I mean, some of the chase scenes you can tell are budgeted chase scenes, like more TV movie. And that was really the only thing that my only negative experience in the movie. And for most people, that's not going to mess with them at all. It just made me stop for a second and realize, whoa, is this like a 90s movie? Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's got a freaking touchscreen cell phone. No, it's not a 90s. And they're doing like modern references in the movie. Okay, it's just cop cars that there'd be no way in hell they're still in service unless you live in San Diego and you can tell me that there's 1991 Ford Taurus is still patrolling the streets. I don't know. It took me out of it. Not a big deal, but that's what keeps it at A instead of the my dead friend Zoe A plus. My only A plus I've given so far. Last thing I'll leave you guys with is this is a good love story. I think the characters would have a hell of a thing to tell their grandchildren. And I love movies like that when I can walk out and put myself within the character's shoes and be like, can you imagine explaining that to like your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids, like the story of how y'all came to be? And one of the characters early on in the film, setting up like the main character's loneliness, says, like his wife has passed away and they've been married for 40 or 50 years or whatever. And Nate is like, oh man, I'm so sorry to lose somebody after all that time. And the characters, I mean, this is again a testament to the writing. This character barely has any lines and only shows up back in the film a little bit later. Again, not a major scene. Says this, it doesn't matter if I would have lost her after the first day, it would have hurt just as bad because I loved her as much as I did the first time I met her, all the way up until the end. And it's just like, oh, that is good shit in this like comedy action movie, man. And it's everywhere. All of the detectives and the cops that are addressing the situation, all of these supporting cast, they all have these really heartfelt lines that to me didn't feel shoehorned in or anything like that. They felt genuine. These felt like believable characters that some TV shows take like a whole season to get you that vested in. And it's not a super long movie. There's always that. Gotta love movies that aren't too long. I don't know how long this has gone, but it's not going on anymore. I'll see you guys in the next one. It's my new green screen, and you probably can't tell, but hopefully it turned out well. Anyway, stitch up other stuff. Here I go.